Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello students, I'm Mrs. Akonde, SA by the name. Here is week 2 business studies and the topic is meaning of needs and wants. We'll be talking about the meaning and difference between needs and wants here, as well as the meaning of shopping tips. By need, a need. What is need? A need is something that is essential. Something that is essential for a person to function effectively. It is a necessity. It is a necessity to that person. One will say something is necessity. That is, it's something that someone must have. Without having it may cause harm. Then want. A want is something that an individual wishes or desires to have but may not necessarily need. Once again, need has to do with something that is essential for a person to function effectively. A good example here is that of oxygen that we breathe in, food, clothing, and shelter. All these things are necessities of life. Without having them, one cannot live a happy life. But wants are just mere desires, heart desires that may not be necessarily needed. For example, now, if I ask those students to list in a sheet of paper what you want, majority of you will list, like for the girls, for example, they may list like shoe and bag to match, hijab, undies, and so on like that. Meanwhile, having one or two or very few of these material items, one will be able to survive. But not having them cannot kill or harm us, as the case may be. So let's look at the differences between need and want. 1. Need are the basic need essentials that if we do not have them, one may die. But when we're talking of wants, they are things that you desire. Not having them does not mean you will die. Then number 2, need can or should not be compromised. Need can or should not be compromised, while wants may be avoided. We cannot avoid need. Like I've cited the example the other time, the example of needs might be food, clothing, and shelter. Not having all this cannot be avoided. It's something that one must. But when it comes to wants, we may and we may not have them. Then number 3, needs can be natural or man-made. Needs can be natural or man-made, e.g. oxygen, water, food. They are natural needs. While the man-made aspect of needs can be car, fuel, books, they are all artificial needs. That one must have as well. But want is something that you will like to have, but which is not absolutely necessary. Something that you would like to have, but are not absolutely necessary. Example is music. Example is that of music. Then needs are artificial music. Then wants are usually material things. When needs can be natural or artificial needs, wants are usually material things. Then shopping tips here help to make good decisions about needs and wants. Shopping tips help to make good decisions about needs and wants. 1. When we want to make a shopping tips, the first thing is to make a list. Then create a list of items you wish to purchase. Create a list of items you wish to purchase accordingly. After that, budget for each of the items. Budget for each of the items according to the income you have. Then separate essential items from non-essential ones. Separate essential items from non-essential ones. That is, you separate needs from wants. By doing this, you'll be able to arrange them according to how important they are. So by separating needs, that is those that are compulsory, from wants. Then calculate all cost. Calculate all cost. If it has exceeded your income, then you automatically adjust your list. Then decide in advance exactly what you want and what you can afford. Decide in advance exactly what you want and what you can afford. Then gather information from family and friends on their experiences about the product. Gather information from family and friends on their experiences about the product or about the product, item, or services. Then the next step after this, by doing this, you'll be able to know the amount, whether the products have a kind of after use reaction or not, and you'll be able to know all the information that are required to know about that particular product you have chosen to buy. Then get price quotations from several sellers of the product. Get price quotations from several sellers of the product so as to patronize the most cheapest out of the sellers. You have got their price quotation. Then make sure the seller or service provider has appropriate license. Make sure the seller or service provider has appropriate license, e.g. a pharmacy or a lawyer. A pharmacy or a lawyer. So that if at all there is any cases arise from buying such products, you can have a backup. You can have a backup because you've purchased from the service provider that has the appropriate license. Then do not purchase an item. The ninth step, do not purchase an item until you are sure you really need it. This is to avoid impulse buying. Do not purchase an item until you are sure you really need it. The reason behind this is that, 1, so that the money spent on such goods will not be wasted, and at the same time you won't regret of buying the products that are of no use to you. Then buy quality items. Buy quality items. Don't be stingy. If you buy quality items, you will use it for a last period. But if otherwise, you regret buying an inferior product. Then know your rights. Know your rights. Alhamdulillah, in the previous lesson, we've talked about the consumer rights and responsibility. By knowing your rights as a consumer, you won't be cheated. Then number 12, explore. explore, meaning that you should check your wardrobe so as not to duplicate what you already have. So as not to duplicate what you already have. So for first period here, this is where we will like to stop. Once again, we've talked about the meaning and differences between needs and wants. Needs are necessity of life that makes a person to function effectively, while wants are just a mere desires that do not back up by money. Difference between them, we've mentioned earlier. Basic needs are essential. Not having them, one may die. Things wants, not having wants does not mean one will die. Needs cannot be compromised, while wants may be avoided. Needs may be natural or man-made, while wants are usually material things. So shopping tips here help to make good decisions about needs and wants. That is, it enables us to separate our needs from wants, and the steps to be followed as shopping tips whenever I want to do shopping are highlighted there. So see you in the next period, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.